Dorothea Lange was an American documentary photographer who lived from 1895 until 1965. She is best known for her work during the Great Depression. Her ethically evaluative photos helped her audience see her subjects with an empathetic eye and revealed the desperation of poverty as well as racial injustice. Her work was mostly in the form of gelatin silver prints that were prepared for the U.S. government. Today, her photos are found in museums, private collections, and publications. Early in her career, Lange worked in a photography studio, and most of her work consisted of portrait photos of members of the social elite in San Francisco, California. When the Great Depression began, Lange started taking more pictures outside of the studio. She photographed Dust Bowl refugees, displaced farmers, migrant workers, and the urban homeless. The goal of her photographs during this time was to draw attention to the suffering and the need for government assistance. Leaving her studio marked her transition to become one of the first documentary photographers. Her first work as a documentary photographer was White Angel Breadline, taken in San Francisco during the Great Depression in 1932. This photo shows men waiting in a breadline at a soup kitchen run by a widow, Lois Jordan, who nicknamed herself White Angel. This photo uses a high perspective which captures the urgency of the hunger crisis as men press together to queue for food. The high perspective also highlights the losses these men have experienced as their individual identities are hidden by their hats. One of Lange's most well-known works is Migrant Mother, a photo of Florence Owens Thompson, a laborer at a pea pickers camp in Nipomo, California in 1936. The centered close-up combines the rule of odds and symmetry which help make Thompson and the weariness in her eyes stand out in the photo. Lange captures the desperation of the Thompson family after the crops froze. The family had been living on vegetables that froze in the fields, as well as birds that the children killed. The publication of Migrant Mother in a San Francisco newspaper prompted the federal authorities to send 20,000 pounds of food to the camp. In the late 1930s, Lange took photographs that displayed the racial and economic power relationships in the Jim Crow South. Lange's photo, Alabama Plowgirl, taken in 1937, depicts the poverty of black sharecroppers in the Deep South. The girl is shoeless, her clothes are filthy, and the mule whip appears to have her tethered. The emphasis on her feet on the rough soil symbolizes the rough path she walks in life. The photo highlights the lack of opportunity and the difficulty of escaping poverty. It also exposes the unbalanced power relationships that oppressed poor black farmers. Shortly after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Lange worked for the U.S. War Relocation Authority, documenting the forced evacuation of Japanese Americans from the West Coast. Much of her work during this time highlighted the injustice of rounding up innocent people, including thousands of children, many of whom were American citizens. Lange's photo, One Nation Indivisible, taken in 1942 shortly before the forced evacuations, uses the rule of odds to focus on 3 children of Japanese descent who are enthusiastically and sincerely pledging their allegiance to the flag in an American schoolroom. It highlights the fact that this evacuation policy resulted in unjust and lengthy detainment of innocent American citizens. Lange's ethically evaluative photos make me feel empathy for her subjects who suffered through no fault of their own due to economic hardship and racial injustice.